All right, so this is going to be my Planet of the Apes Q&A. I want to thank everyone who sent in questions for this Q&A. If anyone out there wants to be part of the next Q&A, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the second tier, and that'll allow you access to do so whenever I do the next Q&A, as well as check out all the exclusive videos on Patreon as well. Real quick, I have just posted, as of this recording, I have just posted my review of the new Universal Monster movie, Abigail. If you guys want to check that out, that one's first tier, but if you do the second tier, that'll allow you access to the first tier stuff. And as always, if you want to have a Patreon request done by me, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the third tier. That allows you access to all the tiers and allow you to send requests for videos for me to do here on YouTube. But yeah, so I've got a major headache, so let's see if I can go through this and not pass out from the pain. Anyway, so our first set of questions come from Tom Hibbert, who asks, if you had to make a crossover between the original timeline and the Caesar timeline, how would you do it? You know, that's always kind of the thing, right? I think Boom Studios said they wanted to do the Interplanet of the Apes crossover with having the Caesar timeline and the original films intersect. I think how I would do it is maybe have it that if you guys remember the mutants who could use mind control and whatnot and worship the nuclear bomb, I'd have them as the main villains and have it that they've, uncovered like an ancient machine that, or actually better, I would have that the events of Beneath the Planet of the Apes have basically caused a fissure in the universe. The explosion caused a fissure in the universe and caused the two versions of the Apes universe to merge together. It sounds completely ridiculous, but then again, the Apes movies themselves can be ridiculous. So, there you go. Second question. Whenever you watch the movies, especially the Rise trilogy, do you ever get the feeling that the filmmakers were telling the audience humanity are a bunch of disgusting scumbags when they deserve to perish, considering by the way we get to Kingdom, humanity essentially went back to the Stone Age? Well, remember, that was a virus. That was a virus caused by humanity and their greed, and it was a whole thing that made them, the virus evolved and made them de-evolve. Also, the whole point, while yes, there are some pretty scummy human beings in the films, you have to remember that the whole point of the Planet of the Apes franchise is that it's supposed to showcase that the apes have the same morals, that they think they're better than the humans, but they're not. Case in point was Dawn, when Koba basically, murdered other apes and tried to kill Caesar in order to gain power, much like a human would. In fact, there were humans that wanted to work with the apes and vice versa. So it's not that it's not trying to tell this story that maybe it did, a little bit. I mean, we did have James Franco's character trying to protect Caesar, but on a whole, really, it really didn't do that whole thing of thumbing their nose at the humans. While yes, you could say that the only real major villain we had, human-wise, was Woody Harrelson's character. Anyway, so third question. If you had to make an original ape for either timeline, what would they be like, and what time of ape would they be, and what role would they play in the universe? I guess for for the Caesar timeline, I would like to use an orangutan because they're cool. We don't have a lot of orangutan feature in the Caesar timeline outside of Maurice and this other new character we're getting in the Kingdom film, but I think how I would do it, the orangutan ape, is that he's kind of like an archivist. He basically keeps he's like a proto-Zeus, only less fanatical. He basically keeps a log of and archives the history of the apes, and also logs human data or human artifacts in order to avoid becoming the humans themselves. For the other timeline, for the original timeline, I would use a gorilla. Only this gorilla wouldn't be warlike from the Roddy McDowall films. This gorilla would probably be, I would have it more that he's kind of a sensible leader. He's more like, yeah, humans are a problem, but like we got problems here too. Like he doesn't believe in like over military control. He believes in like law and democracy, and he butts heads with Ursus, who is more like military fanatical and religious fanatical. He's more of a level-headed general. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Tom. Moving on now to Hunter Johnson, who asks, what if Caesar and the apes lived in Hollow Earth? Could they live peaceably with Kong and the other great apes? Yeah, I could totally see that. They could. I don't know how well they would live on their own on Hollow Earth, but I do think on a whole, I gotta get some water. I do think on a whole, once they find Kong and the other great apes, especially now they have Shimo on their side, I do think they stand a better chance. Anyway. Anyway, it's the second question. What would Caesar think of Gorilla Grodd? He would hate him. Caesar would absolutely fucking despise Gorilla Grodd. He's this he manipulates other apes, he kills other apes, and, you know, he's just an all-around dictator. Yeah, Caesar would not be down for him in any way, shape, or form. Caesar would not be down with whatever Grodd has to offer. Excuse me. All right. Third question: what are your thoughts on Planet of the Apes scene from Spaceballs? Oh shit! There goes the planet. That's all I can say. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Hunter Johnson. Moving on now to Cyborg 19.99, who asks, how would you do an X-Men Planet of the Apes crossover? You know, that since we got the Aliens Avengers crossover, I got a feeling if they are going to do a Planet of the Apes crossover, it'll be with X-Men. But still, but whatever. That's how I would do this, and again, I suck at crossovers right out the gate. How I would do a X-Men Planet of the Apes crossover is have it that maybe have it that this is in the future or an alternate timeline, and have it that Sinister has escaped to this alternate timeline and is making mutants out of ape genes, as well as have, you know, Cable and some of the other X-Men go to this timeline. That's kind of what I got so far for it, right off the top of my head. I can't think of a crossover right at the top of my head, especially with a headache. Holy shit. Anyway, second question. Do you think the apes could survive in the Attack on Titan universe? Fuck no. There's no way. Not even normal humans can survive the Attack on Titan universe. Do you think either timeline ape can survive? Either the Caesar or original timeline apes could survive that? Fuck no. There is no fucking way. No. Hell no. No. But thank you for this question, Cyborg. Moving on now to David Deister, who asks, what would a Planet of the Apes TV show remake be like with current technology and writing? You know, I'm shocked that we haven't gotten an announcement. I'm surprised Disney hasn't done that. But then again, if Kingdom does well, I'm going to say this. If Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes does well, in any capacity, I'm going to say, like, not only are they going to, you know, continue with that trilogy, because this is supposed to be start of a new timeline trilogy, I'm going to say that they are also going to make, kind of like Star Wars it up. I'm sure, like, this will be a new universe for them to play with, and we'll probably get a new TV show. Like, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards, and I wouldn't be shocked if they went ahead with that. So I'm gonna say it's a solid maybe. I think it'd be pretty damn awesome with tech, especially if they throw out actual legit Disney money for, like, motion capture. Yeah. So there you go. Second question. Could a Planet of the Apes musical work? What are you talking about? There's already a Planet of the Apes musical. How could you forget Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius? Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius? Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius? Oh, Dr. Zaius. Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. What's wrong with me? I think you're crazy. Could want a second opinion. You're all so lazy. Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Oh, Dr. Zaius. Can I play the piano anymore? Of course you can. Well, I couldn't before. I've seen... Oh, wait. No, I'm not gonna do it. I can't do the whole fucking... I'll do the whole fucking bit. Let's just say, I love legitimate theater. Anyway. Third question. What would an Avengers Planet of the Apes crossover be like? You see, that's what I thought they would do. Avengers Planet of the Apes. Like, I think what they would do is have it set in the original timeline. So, I would have it that this would involve Kang as the villain. That's who I would have as Kang as the main villain, and have it that he's kind of merging the timeline with that, and have it that he's working with the mutant, the nuke mutant, the nuclear bomb worshipping mutants. That's the best I got right off the top of my head. All right, thank you for those questions, David Deister. Moving on now to James Finnegan, who asks, if you could make a Planet of the Apes video game, how would you make it? I think it'd be really cool if you could play as both a human and one of the apes and have it set in the timeline of the original films, but in between that massive timeline between Battle of the Planet of the Apes and Planet of the Apes, the original Planet of the Apes film. Like, basically set it from the last film to the first film, that massive 1,000-year timeline, and kind of talk about, on one side, the human side trying to survive, and on the ape side, you're battling to protect, you know, farms and crops and whatever from humans. And it kind of have it like each mission you do depends on which faction is going to survive more. Yeah. That's the best I got. Second question: Which Planet of the Apes comics would you recommend? Everything from Boom Studios. I thought they were really good. Marvel did do original series in the 70s, so maybe try to look for those. I would also recommend the King Kong Planet of the Apes crossover. That's also a good one. I would recommend. I'd also again the Boom Studios books are really good if you can find any. I know they're kind of cycling out of publication because that's no one under their license, so it's going to get. Sorry about that. It kind of glitched out on me. But like I was saying, anything from the Boom Studios books, but find them while you can, James, because they're going to get harder and harder to find because that's not under their publication anymore. Yeah. Third question. What would the apes think of Lyoko if they went to it? They would lose their fucking minds. Regardless of what timeline it is, they would lose their fucking minds on all of it. It would just be sensory overload to the point of just madness. That's how I see it. So thank you for those questions, James. Moving on now to Jason Voorhees 2011, who asks, favorite and least favorite sequels in the original films? Favorite sequel would probably be Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. I know it's not. It's like it's kind of like part of that new trilogy where it's kind of a downward spiral. But that was actually like one of the. I think the first Apes movie I watched. Technically, the first Planet of the Apes media I watched was the aforementioned Simpsons parody. So as you can see, I was very confused. But Conquest is really good. I think it's an underrated gem. I think least favorite sequel would probably be see, I have a soft spot for Battle. It very much feels it's low budget, but I still kind of like it. I think what I think the one I would say is that my least favorite and one I don't really go back to is Beneath, because it just feels like a mess of a movie. So there you go, Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Second question: have you ever watched the Planet of the Apes animated series? I have seen a few episodes, not all of them, but I have seen a few episodes here and there. It's pretty fun. I kind of hope we get an updated animated film or a series from Disney. That'd be cool. What are your thoughts on the Tim Burton remake? I fucking hate that movie. I, honest to God, do. I mean, yes, the technical makeup is really good, no doubt about that. And having Charlton Heston in the film as an ape is really cool. But that movie, the writing sucks, the universe building sucks, all of it just sucks. I fucking hate that movie. Ugh. So thank you for those questions, Jason. Moving on now to Bill McLaughlin, who asks, who is your favorite villain in the entire franchise? Dr. Zaius. Say what you want, but Dr. Zaius is such a horrific villain. So, yeah, I would have to definitely pick Dr. Zaius. Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. I gotta stop doing it. But yeah, Dr. Zaius, cruel, calculating, and uses religion as an excuse for his actions. He's like an orangutan Frollo, almost. Second question. What is your favorite parody of the Statue of Liberty scene? As aforementioned before, two versions. Oh my god, I was wrong. It was Earth all along. So looks like you finally made a monkey. Yes, we finally made... I'll stop. So there's one. The other one is... Spaceballs? Oh shit. There goes the planet. There you go. Third question. How do you think the apes from the OG timeline would fare in the world of Fallout? Oh, I don't want to go too deep into it, but like I would say... Probably not, they would probably handle themselves, radiation aside. It's just the giant mutants and ghouls and monsters and also these apes have these humans that they have to contend with have guns too, and they also have a pretty sour disposition, and some of them are cannibals. So think on that. So think of those questions, Bill. Moving on now to Brittany Digger, who asks, "Have you read the original novel Planet of the Apes the movie is based on?" I have. I thought it was pretty good. It's been a long time, so I can't really remember a lot of it, but I do remember liking it. Second question. What would you like to see in the next movie in the reboot series? What I'd like to see in the next film? Probably... What would I like to see in the new film? I would say probably more ape factions, and maybe even maybe a new maybe see the new them slowly get into the spaceship that it. I kind of do think though that the girl that the apes have found, that she talks and that she's one of the astronauts from that, because remember there was in the original Rise of the Planet of the Apes film, they did talk about like there was a spaceship that went up in the sky and went missing. So I do think she's one of the astronauts. Maybe they kind of confirmed that in the trailer. I don't know. I'm trying to stay away and not get spoiled. But yeah. Have you heard of Kamandi, the last boy on Earth? Yes, I have. It's a pretty good series. Anyway. Thank you for those questions, Brittany. Moving on now to Nolan Unejo, who asks, how would you make your own Planet of the Apes movie? Well, I'd probably set it in the original timeline and have it set like it's a borderline ape civil war. Like have it that maybe there's like a fanatical group of apes that are like trying to oppose ape law, and they found like caches of old weapons to use. That's the best I got right now. Second question. How would you improve or remake Beneath the Planet of the Apes? Not have that this guy who's basically Taylor Light in the film. Probably also not have the planet get nuked at the end. I always thought that was a dumb ending. Because it's just basically... Though it is kind of a cool idea that the planet's just kind of caught in an endless circle. But still... something different from that. Maybe even have the apes actually battle the mutants. Third question. How would you do a reboot Planet of the Apes Jurassic World crossover? Probably have it that the events of Dominion are taking... like the virus outbreak is that causes the apes to grow smarter is actually taking place in the events of Dominion, and the virus is also affecting the dinosaurs that are now on roaming the Earth. Specifically the theropods, because we now know that theropods were vastly smarter than most herbivores, so the virus is also affecting them, and not giving them, like, they're not capable of speech, but they're already, like, especially the raptors are now becoming smarter, so they become more predatory on the apes. There you go. Anyway, so thank you so much, guys. That is the last of the questions. I want to thank everyone who sent in questions. You guys let me... sorry. Headache's killing me. Yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below what you guys thought of this. And I want to, once again, thank everyone who sent in questions. This was a lot of fun. I wanted to do a Planet of the Apes Q&A because of the new movie, and like I said, the Planet of the Apes films have been kind of on my mind for a while, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this now. But anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.